Hello. So I started a little live chat with Eve's Worldbuilding, and we are going to retry again. We're going to try on my account this time. So we'll see if this works. We're just getting a little bit of technical difficulties on Eve's end. So we'll see if this actually. Oh, Eve has just joined. Let's see if view the request. This works without hitch. Here we go. Hopefully that has sorted it. Nope. Kicked. Lucky 13, that's what it is. Right, she's trying to join again. We're getting the squirrels of the internet. We're getting some sort of noise, kind of heavy breathing.
Hello?
No. Hello.
It's you're looking for.
I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Oh no. Bloody hell.
Right.
I have no idea what's going on.
It's lucky number 13. I'll just, here,
Well,
we'll just pretend the jog is you down the bottom like this, okay? And I'll just, whenever you talk, I'll waggle Jog's head like this. And see,
I'm so sorry. I don't know what's
Liz
going
has other plushies. Liz has other plushies that might work. Oh, so Fred says he sees you. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I just can't see.
I'm hiding from you.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see if I just...
I don't think it is the Wi-Fi because it was working fine earlier. I think it's something to do with Instagram. Maybe I've been hacked. Those
Maybe,
damn
yeah. Blame it on the hackers. Yeah.
Definitely hackers. Anyway, very sorry. Before we got interrupted, you were telling me about Jog.
Oh, yeah. So I think I started saying where Jog's name came from. That was when I was, when my son was 4, he wrote this comic book called Jog Brogzin and the Dungeon of Death with a character.
Sounds sinister.
Oh, yeah. This is my 4-year-old son. Okay?
For a 4-year-old.
Oh, 4-year-old. Yeah. He's it was not my influence. I only had good influence over his life. No fantasy elements to his upbringing for me. But for when it was a bit like I could just see the name Jog Brogzin in neon lights, to quote a famous movie. It was just, we all fell in love with it. And he had the comic book, but I think he threw it out. And in doing so, threw out all rights he has to the name Jog Brogzin. No, at this point, he doesn't care for the name. He's like, what? Why would you use that name? Whatever, yeah. He's a that. So that's where the name came from. It appeared in a few other things. My brother-in-law is a filmmaker. He's a filmmaker, and he made a little film that my son wrote involving a character, Jog Brogzin. Man of the Dead is a zombie movie. So Jog Brogzin has a kind of varied history, but then when I need to come up with some moniker for, my map making. I knew Jog Brogzin had to be the character. So, that's
really cool. That you've got a long-standing relationship with the name as well. Yeah, it wasn't just like something you came up with.
But he has developed the character since, like his personality has developed. Sorry?
Taken on a life of his own.
Yeah, he has. Yeah. And completely, he doesn't have the same personality as I do either. I suppose I like a bit like role playing, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's taking on these kind of characteristics as we're mapping together, as we're exploring all of these different worlds.
Yeah.
and it's like he visits all of these worlds I map. That's
really cool.
Yeah. That's the idea behind it.
I had this impression of you as Jog, that you were like this very serious dude. And then
Not at all. Jog is the serious one. He's a persona. So because I put up these little blurbs, and I have his personality in mind. So yeah, I forget that maybe that gives people that sort of impression. A friend of mine has requested to go live next time, Mr. Meehan. Next time, yeah.
Internet can take it.
Yeah, if there is a next time, if I go live on one of these videos another time, yeah, Jog is like a planeswalker. It's like someone said it was. Someone coined the phrase the Brogverse.
The Brogverse.
And I thought that was funny. The Brogverse is all of the worlds that Jog has visited over the many dimensions. But there's like a sadder side to his personality as well. His MO, for his reason for traveling the many worlds. He's an old man now, but back in his youth, he met a traveler, an immortal traveler, and fell in love with her. And then because she's immortal, she just popped down the shops for 70 years, and he's been looking for her ever since. So she's multi-dimensional, and so that's his reason for searching. You know what I mean? Searching the many universes.
Yeah. Bloody hell, that's devastating.
Yeah.
Poor Jog.
Yeah. I think she just forgot, like, he's immortal. He's mortal, so he.
And left him behind.
Yeah. Oh, do you know what? I think there's a. No.
Oh.
There's oh, here we go. No, I mean, never mind. I just thought there was a thing where I could bring up your video, but I
the thing is, I can see both of us, and other people can see both of us, but maybe I'm an apparition. I'm in the
spirit
Matrix.
of my imagination. Yeah.
Well,
so anyway, do you have any questions? Because I've just been rabbiting on, and I will continue doing that.
I do have some questions, but rabbiting on.
We haven't talked about any maps.
Well, what and/or who influences your work? Do you have any books, websites, other favorite cartographers, or people who have just helped you out? Talk to us about it.
Well, okay, so because there's so many people and so many influences, and my brain, I have to write down stuff because I'm terrible with names, okay? If I try to kind of think of a name, I will stall, and I get a brain fart, and I can't go on. So I have to write these things down. These are people who have just really welcomed me into the community from 2 years ago up to now, and also really helped me out. So that, So let me see. I have them up on the screen here. So first, and you've interviewed him yourself, and he's just an absolutely gent, and that is Joseph Lever Moth illustration. Moath, is it? Yeah. There we go. I don't do pronunciations.
No, I had to get him to repeat it several times.
Yeah. He really helped me explore. I just love his color schemes. I just love his palette, and I just reached out to him and said, "Listen, can you help me out?" And he couldn't help me out more. And he just has been, a real friend in the community. Ever since I reached out to him, we're just we're internet buddies, even though we still meaning to kind of have a little chat on Discord. It's just like scheduling times. He's always
these things are hard.
In the wilderness, you know what I mean? So But so there's Joseph, Miss J Maps. That's Janice.
Yeah.
She has been wonderful. She's just been a rock for me. And she also she taught me a lot of tricks for using Photoshop and stuff like that. Then so both of them actually have been on Facebook and Instagram. But there's this one guy, Nicholas Mullerson, okay, who I met on Reddit of all places, where you wouldn't expect to actually form a relationship with anyone.
On Reddit,
no. No, but we kind of like started chatting, and so basically if ever we got any internet coins donated to us, we would throw them at each other. You know what I mean? It's just his stuff was amazing. He does these little tutorials, or did these little tutorials until recently. Now he's just all into these fantasy tanks and stuff. So he is Mullerson Doodles, and his work is fantastic, and he's an absolute gent. We took a call over Discord while I was sick one time, and I was making a biking map of Ireland, and I was just sick in bed, and we just had a chat, and it was just it's great to have people out there, you know, that are into the same things.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Nicholas, Wistet. Okay.
It's a Swedish pronunciation.
as past peculiar, but Nicholas, he is just being really. He's an absolute gent, super supportive of so many people, and his work is fantastic. His isometrics, you probably know.
Yeah, beautiful.
And then last but not least is Aaron Siofi, or he is Siofar on Instagram. And that guy really helped me work out how to kind of create rock faces and stuff like that. I had been just doing like little kind of, but I wanted to kind of make them a little bit more organic. And he was able to, in a way that kind of I could understand, that is like using an isometric grid and then building the rock face inside like a box, you know what I mean? Yeah. Really kind of helped me kind of like break that mold of, you know, how to just do rock faces differently. And strange thing is, I've never been interested in rocks before, you know, they have like a purpose in it. Sorry?
Revolutionized rocks.
Yeah, really brought them to the 21st century.
Nice. Well, that's a very good list.
Yeah, that's my list of folks that I wanted to shout out. And there's so many other people who have been supportive to me, but they're my 5 people that I really feel. So some don't need my help, but some I look at, you know, how many people are supporting, and I don't consider that like an indicator of success. I follow people who have maybe 100 people following them, and their work is amazing. You know, so it doesn't.
It's not. It's how well you can play the Instagram game. Obviously, I'm not saying that people who have lots of followers aren't talented, because most of them absolutely are. But it doesn't. If you've only got 100 followers, doesn't mean that what you're producing isn't amazing.
It's nothing to do that. And also on the flip side, people shouldn't treat me like royalty if they look at how many followers I have. So some people kind of consider, you know, if let's say I compliment their work and they're surprised at how they kind of feel like they're honored because I kind of give them a compliment. I have no taste. I don't trust my word, because there's so many other people that if I don't like it, someone else will. It's a bit like online dating. I kind of there's always someone for you.
Yeah, speed dating for cartographers.
Yeah, exactly. There's going to be someone who likes your stuff, so just share it. You know what I mean? And
I think that's just art in general, right? Though, like there's people that love modern stuff and some people that like the classics, and it's the same with our niche. Obviously, there's a lot of different styles that can be interpreted, and some of it you'll like, some of it you won't like, but you learn from, and other bits you'll really love and want to look at it every day.
I've discovered that I've learned to trust myself when I see something I really like.
Yeah.
And I say, I do actually like this. That's why I say I don't really have any taste, because I find it really hard to discern what I think is good. I mean, that's why I find it really hard to like pick a palette. It's like, I don't know what colors I like to include. That's why I'll just go black and white mostly. But I'm exploring.
Black and white is definitely it's a fun thing.
You know, Kiofer has just joined. That's who I was talking about, who helped me out with the rocks. So
welcome.
Definitely someone to keep an eye on. His stuff is lovely.
Do you ever use like books or other websites or anything like that, or is it just kind of like drawing inspiration from other cartographers or just stuff that you've picked up along the way?
That's it. Like, I don't really use books. Like, I have bought some books. There's that one by that guy David such and such. As I said, I'm not great with names. He has like Castle, yes. Castle and Town and Cathedral. I'm not sure if you know those books. He just draws the architecture of it. But I know I want to do a certain thing, so I will do a quick Google search. I see something that I like the style of, and then I close it, and then I go to the page, and I don't really spend. I don't do too much. I just try a lot. I just take a lot of chances. That's really it. And try different stuff. So I'll have a look at someone's, and then the thing is, I don't really, because I'm terrible with names, I don't kind of make a connection. Like who does that?
Who am I?
Yeah. Who am I? Yeah. Like, am I John? Am I a guy called Brian? No, I don't know.
Nobody knows.
No,
but I think that it's actually can be quite good if you don't take loads of time kind of looking at other people's stuff and whatever. Firstly, because sometimes, well, maybe you don't, but I certainly can get spooked sometimes because I'm like, bloody hell, what they've made is so much better than what I can make. Yeah. And then it kind of puts me off. Or you can end up being stuck in the research phase for a while, being like, oh, I want to do that, or I want to do that. And it's kind of like procrastinating. It's better to just do it. Pull up your socks and do it. No, that's it. That's the key. And okay, maybe you might think I'm prolific, but I could be a lot more prolific if I didn't have these moments where I do sometimes feel kind of a little bit of terror, when I approach the page. And actually, most maps, especially because I'm always doing something new and different, because the way I have, as I said, my Patreon set up, where people submit their ideas and then they vote on them. So they'll vote on what they think is the best idea, and that's all of my maps are made that way. So I'm taking this idea, which is the best of a bunch of great ideas, and then it's normally something that's kind of left field and just out there. So it's there's normally a challenge involved. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm normally a bit of terror when it's like, oh, I have to do that. And then I'll give it a go. I mean, and I just have to learn to trust myself, and just I'll do a little bit. Okay, a little bit of research, and then try and just get into the hard slog. Yeah, if you can minimize it, and also make mistakes. I make tons of mistakes. All my maps contain mistakes. They just also learn to
manipulate those mistakes into something that looks like it was intentional. That's the key.
I think that's art. That's art in general. Just making a whoopsie and making the best of it.
The amount of times I swear every map.
Yeah.
But no.
Well, actually,
you're going to be.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, you asked a question on one of my other map chats, like, do you have any map phobias or like things that you don't like drawing? And I thought that was a good question for you.
Yeah. I suppose what I really meant was that sort of hesitation. Like, do you have any phobias? But like, I suppose, like the one thing I can think of, a map phobia, well, I love to be afraid of it, is anything that's kind of like organic that involves hairs or bones. If let's say there's a border, or let's say kind of fleshy kind of wall around. Let's say there's a dungeon and the technique is super easy. It's just like a big thick pen, but then you just go flick like this, and you just create a series of hairs. And I just start doing this, but then I know that I'm I'm having a visceral impact on myself when I'm doing it. It's like, ugh, because I can imagine if I'm kind of going through and you see this large hair sticking out of the wall or something.
Yeah, that would be a bit grim.
So that would be, yeah. If there was here's the thing, I'm not bothered by hairs in real life. It's just when I do it on the page, it's like, whoa.
Maybe if you walk past a big fleshy wall covered in hair, you'd be a bit more dismayed. Luckily, that doesn't happen often. Maybe just once or twice a week.
Yeah. I could change my route to work, avoid the kind of fleshy corridor.
The fleshy wall.
That's probably where it comes from. There is actually one guy on my Discord. We're building a collaborative world together. So you might have seen some of my hex maps that I make. I cut a few of them out here. So there are these again, none of these are my ideas. They're all kind of contributing, and they all stick together. I can't really manipulate them here, but they
look really great.
So what was my point? There's one guy so anyone can join, anyone from the public can kind of submit, like, you kind of like go to submit an idea of what appears in that hex.
Yeah.
And this guy wants to, he really wants to add a kind of wall of flesh, and just like a flesh forest and everything to do with flesh. It's like, but it's mine. I would love to include, in fact, we have included among the hexes, there is a kind of a fleshy growth. Like, it's kind of a corruption, bit kind of Terraria-esque vibe to it. Have you ever played that? Have you ever played Terraria? No?
I don't believe that I have, no.
Yeah, there is a wall of flesh in that, and there is kind of some sort of corruption. I don't know how influenced it is from that, but yeah, so he has included something like that, and it's been approved into the world.
Nice. And actually, that works quite well with my one of the questions that was submitted is, how do you balance doing personal projects and collaborative world building projects?
What do you mean by personal? Is that like in my own world, or?
Well, like just doing stuff for your own, not stuff that's on your Discord, etc. Something that comes from you rather than somebody else's idea.
I kind of don't. All my stuff, I don't really do personal stuff anymore. But the thing is, I absolutely love it. I wouldn't change it. And I take the position, I suppose, kind of, there is certain, the world building project, the collaborative world building project is something I wanted to do. And so therefore I pitched it. I said, okay, I'm going to start doing this. And I just got everyone involved. And then I suppose every map I make for everyone else, personally visiting it, so it's my own personal thing. I don't have time for running a game, for example. I think I stopped. Actually, it was just shortly before I started taking it serious. 2018, I ran my last game, and I think I just get better positive feedback from making maps for other DMs than making them for players. Players like, cool map, bro. It's like, but let's get on with the game. And I'm like, but check it out. It's like, we're not really that interested. Let's just play, okay? And we are going to burn your map, by the way. And we're going to go off the map and go, we're going to try
elsewhere
to make it, irrelevant. You know what I mean? All that hard work. Who cares? Yeah. Whereas I make it for a DM,
pesky players.
They are all over it like a rash. Yeah.
Nice.
Maybe.
Hopefully
yeah. Okay.
not.
I just think bad analogy. I just realised. No, you get a much better positive feedback loop from doing work for other people in their own personal games, because they're super excited about it. So therefore, I feed off that. I feed off that excitement, and I tend to I feed off their creativity.
Yeah.
Suck it out of their head. Make a map. Feel great about it. Who cares if they don't like the result or not? I'm really not selling myself.
Why not? Why the hell?
Yeah.
So, can you talk to us a bit about digital versus traditional cartography? Do you really?
I'm going. It's kind of like this. I got to turn on the light here.
You still get lighting.
Yeah. It's just called the. Oh, we have a little halo back here as well. So digital. So I mostly love just drawing the hand-drawn maps, but of late I've been I do a few in Illustrator. They don't fill me with as much joy as a physical map. And I don't think I've ever just done the sort of maps that I do on paper. I never do it from start to finish in Photoshop, for example, because I think someone else has said this to you as well. I'd be too afraid. Where do I stop in terms of zooming in?
Yeah.
I'll build a little house out of a group of pixels, just for extra detail. I wouldn't be able to stop.
Yeah.
So, but in terms of, I have been using digital for color and shading, and I'm enjoying that. I would like to try and start doing that physically. And those watercolors, I think it is on my to-do list. And someone just asked what sort of paper I use. I use either watercolor paper or mixed media paper, because it takes to the Copic multiliner pens, which you can just use any sort of pigment ink. Pigment ink. Pigment. And it's also for future-proofing, because I may go back and watercolor those old maps at a later date.
Well, yeah. I'm very excited about the set that I got. I'm terrified of it, but
I saw it.
I saw it because it won't show up in the video, because I was talking about that. But it's this one for people that didn't see it.
Yeah.
The Sakura one. So there you go. You'll know what to look for now if you're in the market for such a thing. Yeah,
but I won't, because I didn't see the video, but I did see it before. Yeah.
You will be back. Hopefully, you'll be able to see that I'm not, in fact, part of your imagination.
Yeah. I'm wondering, is this just a dream? is okay. We're going back. Sorry. Have you any other questions? I did answer that question from Chef Rabbit Foot. I was going to shave rabbit. Oot. But yeah, so Copics and mixed media paper.
Nice. Well, I've just one more question. And do you have how do you tend to kind of deal with your previous maps? Do you keep favorites? Do you kind of look back at them once you've done them in order to think about future projects? And well, this is actually two questions in one, but then also, do you have any big future projects that maybe they're secret ones, but if you've got anything that you'd like to do or you're thinking about doing, then feel free to share.
So obviously my old visible maps are unceremoniously dumped into, let me show you, into here, and it's kind of bulging at the seams, okay? So I have them according to months, they're just all piled into this here. But obviously these are all scanned, so I do look back over them. In fact, actually, if I were to do a certain type of map, I might take out all of the maps and put them around me for a bit of inspiration, just kind of like I'm referring back to. And if there's something I kind of like that I did previously, I go, oh yeah, I'll do that again, because I like making references to, there's a particular bank in kind of a classic architecture that keeps on appearing, and just like the continuity of that.
Yeah.
There's also a particular airship that keeps on appearing, just to kind of make so Jog is forced to face his fears. Because what's the point in having fears if you aren't going to face them?
Absolutely.
Magic appears in Jog's world. If Jog didn't have magic in his world, and what would be the point in him having a fear of magic, or a distrust of magic, more like? Anyway, I'm going off track. So, in terms of future projects, there are some things I would like to do, but again, it's just a case of scheduling them. I am working with two people you may know, Whiskey or Whiskey. Whiskey with an E, that's the Irish whiskey. Whiskey with a Y is a Scotch.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So now, Whiskey with an E is also a bourbon American whiskey, but who cares about that? It's the Irish whiskey all over. And if I was good with names, I would tell you some, but I can't think of them. I just know them on the shelf. Say, I like that one. And then I'm going off track again. So I am working with, he actually joined there a second ago, but I don't think he can stick around. Tiny one-shots to do a zine based in this kind of collaborative world, and also another zine in this world with a guy called Mark Braden, who I've worked with a lot in the past. So we're going to do some zines. I'm planning to set up an Etsy account, but because I have too many postcards. So it's just like,
send some my way.
I'll put them there. I send them out. Jan is still around. There he is. So I would like to do a big, actually, I think that's what we're going to work on, myself and Jan, eventually, hopefully, or work on it. I did this big dungeon underneath the ground, underneath one of these cities that I built. And that was just something, a compulsion. So sometimes I feel like I have to do something. So I just took a month off and said, I'm making a big isometric dungeon, a big naked guy underneath the ground. And I think we're going to leave it every Tuesday. So, we might revisit that and maybe do top-down maps and build a kind of a story around it or something. or like an adventure. Work with some writers and stuff. So
that sounds awesome.
And then ongoing is like every week, except for last week when I just took a little break, but I can take weeks off. That's okay. Is making a hex, and behind the hex is all of the lore that people are putting into it on the Discord. We are having so much fun with it. We're up to.
It looks like fun.
We have 7 maps now, almost 8 maps, and anyone can get involved. Map makers can get involved. They can zoom in and map an area and add kind of details to it. Anyone can jump in and create lore for the world. It's all of the lore is submitted by like Creative Commons BY license, so anyone can use it as long as you kind of credit the contributors. And then anyone who makes artwork for it, obviously they look after the rights for that, but you can create artwork for it, no problem. And then maybe other people can get adventures going. So it's very much kind of a collaborative thing.
A good time had by all.
Yeah. No, we're having fun with it. It's lots of work, but we're kind of distributing it. So there's people taking responsibilities for it. We have a wiki going with all of the approved lore is kind of developing there. So yeah, it's kind of, so in terms of planned projects, it's just, I do it like I do everything else. If I can fit it in my schedule, I'll fit it in my schedule. Otherwise, I'll do it off the cuff. Basically, I will try do what I can. That's it.
That's all you can do.
Yeah.
What you can.
While I still have blood pumping through my veins, I will try and get some maps going. Yeah.
Wow, I think that's good. Hopefully blood will remain to be pumping for many years.
Yeah. I'll see if I can sell my soul for eternal life so that I can get a few more maps done.
Well, hopefully you didn't pick up too many of the gold coins on one of your previous posts, which gave up years of your life.
I was discussing a few things. It'd be nice if the gold, if you're able to put gold coins, but with interest, and every time you do it, it increases. And so therefore, like the bag is hungry for coins, but you could gain years back. And I just kind of thought that might be interesting. Like if the king got hold of that and just started taxing the land just for more extra, like shove those coins in until either the land ran out of gold and then the king dies, or someone is like, this guy's a tyrant, and poof. I just thought that might be fun.
Squeezes all the gold out.
Yeah, I know you'd have to take the gold out and you have to pay the price. That's the only way.
Wow.
And again, that's not my idea. That idea wasn't mine. That's a guy called Justin, who is one of my patrons. All of my ideas they're not my ideas. They're other people's ideas. And I just map them, make the items, make the maps. My daughter's getting involved. She is making creatures for people.
I've seen some of her things. Blazing Scales, was it?
Blazing Scales, yeah. So she is started. It's like she's doing a little apprentice on the Patreon. There's no pressure on her, so she can drop out whenever she wants. I'm not telling people that to expect this. So people can sign it.
Daughter.
Sorry?
Draw Dragon's daughter. Got her shackled to draw dragon.
Yeah. Well, we're all just slaves to Jog. Jog is kind of, whoosh, come on. Well, they're kind of like in the story, the dragon is kind of like befriended Jog, and they're kind of like traveling around together. And they're like a horticultural expert. Or maybe I've gotten the story wrong, and Liz will correct me. As she knows, that's not my story. It's probably something else.
Well, I think it's great that she's got involved, that she's obviously very enthusiastic about it. So,
but she just wouldn't have anything. She is. She said, if she can't draw, she hasn't. That's just her life, and she doesn't want to do. She doesn't want to work. She just wants to draw. I was like, okay, you need to.
We can relate.
So, yeah. So if you are doing something you love, you never work a day in your life. So, and that's what hopefully the path that she follows. So I'm hoping that she learned something about. Like, I haven't there yet. My goal is obviously to get to either have enough regular commissions that I am kind of stable enough that I can leave my job. I'm already down to kind of half. I'm working 2 days a week, one kind of long day. But if she follows my path and we kind of get there together, then I'll make all the mistakes, and then hopefully she just kind of follows through. She's helped me with some posts on Patreon and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So she can learn how the kind of inner workings of Patreon works. Things like that. Yeah. So it's
that's really cool. A family enterprise.
And I get bonus perks like this: early access to handmade plushies of my character. So because she's always looking for ideas, inspiration. But like shortly before, I think it was a month before Christmas, I said, "Hey, Liz, would you make me a little plushie of Jog?" She said, "No." She'd already started. It was my Christmas present. So
that's wonderful.
Yeah, I love it.
She did a really good job.
It's sitting on my desk as my little mascot. I'm not sure if it's visible.
Or are you sitting at your desk as his mascot?
Or is Jog just like, I'm not quite a mascot, but get back to work. Yeah. No, we're in this together, myself and Jog. Yeah.
You've got camaraderie between you.
Yeah. I will help him get to wherever he wants to go. Anywhere he wants to map.
Well, that's wonderful. I think that's all the questions that I had for you. And yeah, I'm sorry about the technology earlier. Hopefully, if you can save this one. Yeah, it was.
You're taking full responsibility for all the technology faults.
I let the internet squirrel out and they just ate my cable.
Yes.
But I'm happy that we've been able to salvage the rest of the time.
Yeah,
it's been really great talking to you. Thanks for coming and talking to me.
My pleasure. Anytime.
And if you can save this video, then I'll be able to signpost people to come and watch it back.
I know. I am. Is there a particular thing I need to do to save it? It's when we end it at the press button.
It's just when
I'm afraid I'll just delete it.
When you finish the map chat, it'll just come up with a screen saying you can share it to Instagram. Instagram Live TV or something. Just do that and it does it for you.
Luddite here. Well, I'm not that much of a Luddite, but when it comes to like new things on like Instagram, I'm like, what am I doing? I need to ask questions.
Well, Instagram has proved today that it's not to be trusted, so you're right to be suspicious.
And high up in the kind of the inner workings, the squirrels controlling everything.
Yeah. Well, I think that's just life. Squirrels are everywhere.
Yes.
To watch out for them.
Squirrel!
Ah! Well, I mean, I guess that wraps it up then. The
It
squirrels.
does, yeah. On that low point.
No, but thank you so much for coming to speak to me. And yeah, I hope that you have a good rest of your evening.
Thanks very much. And it was an absolute pleasure.
Adios.
Bye.